So we just talk. That's how it works. I need to see if this hair situation is problematic a little bit. Oh, well.
Yeah, this is pretty much how it's been going, is we'll just sit down and say, yeah, we don't have to start for a couple of minutes, and then we'll start talking, and then at some arbitrary moment, I'll say, oh, I think the show just started. Let's start the show.
And I can see... We're on now, right?
Yes, we're on now.
And I can see it on your face, too, because you get this look on your face like, okay, shut up, because this is happening. So that happened.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm interested in hearing about what happened at dinner last night, and I thought I thought Achilles Warlord and Noble Blaze and Dark Snowman might be interested, too.
Hi, guys. I know, it's so cute. We also have a visitor. One of my kids is sitting here, so hopefully I won't turn and not too much of this. All right, so...
So next week we've decided... I still have tech tests to run to make sure this is feasible. But so all that preview, my standby screen with me and the ice bath and all that stuff, we're going to do that live next week with me up in the ice bath because Adrian Stouffer, is it Stouffer? Am I?
Jesnick. She kept her name.
Oh.
Adrian Jesnick.
I think I have her under her husband's name.
I would change that.
It's probably...
Maybe change it.
Terrible. Maybe I should change it. But she offered to. So she is part of the husband-wife team that works with Tom to manufacture these cold forges.
Of which you are a customer.
Yes. Trying to get the branding right. I was about to say cold tubs, but they're not cold tubs.
No.
That's the competition.
No. Right.
Because that makes you think it'll be refreshing, and it's not that.
Coke is not Pepsi.
No.
And Forge is not a cold tub.
No.
No.
Anyway, she offered, so she does like guiding people, talking to them. I saw the video of her with Blake doing it.
Yeah.
And that's my point of reference for what I'm even getting in for.
What did you think?
I mean, yeah, seemed helpful. Like, I've definitely noticed the first couple of times that I did it, nobody was like sitting there talking me through it or anything.
Right.
But having other people present, I think, was definitely helpful.
Yeah.
Because it gave me somebody to impress.
Exactly. Right. The first time I did it without one of my kids present, I had like a anxiety response. I was like, I don't want to. It's the only time I bailed. I was like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And
I've left it in every time. I've started. So I'm videotaping every morning. I do it, and I've been cutting it together into a reel for my standby screen. And at first it was every day, and then that started getting too long. I only run standby for like 5 minutes. It was pushing 15.
Oh, wow.
So I started cutting days out. Like, the idea is just to show progress.
Yeah.
But I've left day one in there because on day one I get out after 17 seconds. So that's a great point of departure to remind myself,
absolutely.
Like, this is how I started.
Okay, well, even let's talk about last week. You were like 2.5 minutes max, and now you're at 3.5.
3.5, yeah.
Holy shnikes.
As of this morning, yesterday, because I don't have like a beeper that goes off. The only reason I have the time is because I put a little time code up next to the day on the video, so I don't know how long I've been in there until after I get out.
Right.
But it's been, for a while I was like, well, I'm making this reel, I should just put like personal bests in there. Well, maybe eventually that'll be feasible, but right now every day is a personal best. It's been longer every time.
That's amazing. I mean, that's like 33% longer than 30-something percent.
Yeah, like I had a rough day not too terribly long ago where I was like, man, that sucked. Because time is weird when you're in that ice.
Every day a personal best. I agree.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and I got out and I thought, man, that sucked. I was really hoping to crack 2 minutes today because this was on like day 3 or 4.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was like maybe 1.5 minutes, probably a minute. I get out. No, I cracked 2 minutes for the first time.
Well done.
Okay, it felt bad, but I did good.
I think there's something. Oh, we got to talk about dinner, but I do think there's something to not having the timer there. I think the first time I went over to 5 minutes, like it was like I wasn't being timed. I was just like, I'm just going to do this until I can't do it anymore. And if I had set a goal of like, I think I had never even broke 4 minutes before that. And if I had, I was like, I'm going to do 4 minutes. I would have gotten out a minute sooner. So this is distracting. They're yucking it up in this group chat.
But
I have a hair. Oh.
actually, I'll pull up the text message to make sure I get the quote right. But Adrian, I am just now finding out, which was when we
Personal bourbon.
Yeah, so that's I don't do that often anymore. But
No?
I've got a thing where if I get a personal best on stream, like a high score in a game or whatever, I'll take a shot, and it's PB, personal bourbon.
Nice.
I don't do it that often anymore because I usually stream in the mornings, and day drinking not so much.
It's not your jam?
Yeah. I mean...
You won't do it? You won't take one for the team?
I mean, it can be fun, but... Also, lots of times, I got shit to do.
I was going to say.
And that's,
Papa Ben's got shit to do.
Exactly.
Makes sense. Hi, kiddo. So at dinner last night, this is how this came about.
Okay.
We were talking about 33 someone's got a mini... Wait. This is when my ADD comes in. I can't look at the chat. Wild 33 times. I hope someone's actually keeping track.
Oh, yeah. See, so Nightbot, that is a bot that lives in the chat.
Oh, that's right.
People can give command. So, yeah, when somebody says doggo sighting, it is keeping a running total of
that's amazing.
how many doggo sightings since somebody thought to put that command in the chat.
Did you post the picture?
I did.
To Twitter?
To Twitter,
If you haven't seen it, you should go.
Yeah.
Because when I got here... Minnie was like, nope, this is my chair, lady. I'll be live streaming with Dad today.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I know people at home love to catch mini sightings. And so I encourage her to sit on these chairs when I'm streaming from my desk normally so that people can see her hop up and hop down and have fun.
So if you had to guess, was that directed at me? Was that territorial, or was she just doing her thing?
I think she was just doing her thing. Okay. Like, oh, Daddy's setting up the stream. I'm going to sit here.
It's time. I'm doing it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. I think this is the 4th time I've tried to come back to the dinner conversation. We're going to stay.
Yeah, we're going to keep coming back to it.
Okay. I can't. I can't. I have to close my eyes. The point was, we were talking about our stream last week, where we were recounting our different experiences, where I get all like zen, and you're like, yeah, everybody says they get zen, and I don't get zen. I get all like, let me the hell out of here. And Jason was like, well, what if he didn't say those things? Have you tried that? Being like, I'm not going to get out of here. This is great. What an enjoyable experience. Like changing that story you tell yourself.
I mean, that invert, like trying to trick myself into enjoying it. That is, that is something that I'm familiar with because it's something that I've done with other things. Like that's how I think I've talked on stream about how as a child I was scared of heights and I went on roller coasters and tricked myself into thinking that feeling of fear was what fun feels like until it became the truth.
And it worked?
Yeah.
So try it, do it.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing with them is like, the story you tell yourself.
Yeah.
So, and then I told them how you were like with the pain and the pushing it and it coming back, and they're like, that's amazing.
Yeah. So when I describe that like panicky feeling, that's more like early experiences. I don't get. I guess I still get that a little, but it's much more controllable now. It's not nearly as frantic, and certain things that I got early on, like I did the shivering thing and like the clenching hard thing, and the like.
The gasp,
breaths,
the gasping.
Yeah, and I don't like. Not only do I not do that anymore, that doesn't take any conscious effort. I don't have to try not to do that anymore. It took an effort the first couple of times to break that physical response, and now the response never comes up to be broken. Maybe a little bit towards the very end will I start getting just the tiniest bit of shivers, but not like immediately.
Well, anything you want to get good at, you got to practice.
Yeah.
But I think there's something to the storytelling thing, because first of all, I'm a storyteller, so that's what I do. And that's how you make meaning of stuff, right? Is you like tell the story and find the meaning in the story. I've always been very anti like power of positive thinking. How do you like people you think positive, think positive. I'm like, oh, you mean like unrealistic bullshit? No, I'm not gonna like do that. But there's something to making like actual meaning out of it versus just being like everything is like daisies and unicorn poop.
Well, I think it is possible to approach that in an oversimplified way. Like,
yeah.
What gets me is the modifier just. Just think positive. It's not that fucking easy. If it was that easy, everybody would do it all the time.
Right.
Like, yes, think positive, but also that's going to take effort.
Oh,
and
my dad
practice.
had a heart attack. That's great. He doesn't have to work for 3 weeks. Like what?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, how do you? I've heard people be like, oh, you have to think positive. You have to like turn everything positive. And I'm like, that's not real. You can't make everything positive, but you can make a different meaning. Mm-hmm. And like you said, maybe it's a difference between oversimplification and like accepting the nuance of the situation.
Yeah. Or like when people say it's all in your head, like you're supposed to be able to just immediately dismiss that. Like, yes, you are literally right that it's all in my head. That doesn't make it easy to deal with. It just means I at least know where to start dealing with it, you know?
Yes, that makes perfect sense. And now that I'm fully distracted by your chat,
yep.
Get out of his brain, get into his car is my favorite thing today. I love that music video. You know what that reference is,
yes.
right?
Oh.
Okay, thank you. And the fact that Nova is writing fan fiction is like my favorite thing. Like we started a group chat, you weren't in it, about Game of Thrones fan fiction. Like keeping it going or even rewriting the last season. So good.
They call that fix-fic.
What? What is
it's
that?
Fan fiction to fix what you feel is wrong.
Okay, so then we did a little fix fiction and then we continued what we had written with fan fiction. Will you do me a favor, dear, and get me a glass of ice water? Or actually not ice, just water. Scratch the ice, because I'm gross. Thanks.
There's a filter pitcher in the fridge.
Yes. She was here. She knows.
Just making sure. There were lots
fiction.
of people here on Saturday. I lost track of who experienced what in the apartment.
I have 4 kids.
Yes.
That's a lot of kids. They move around a lot, and you're like, who's where? I don't know. Who's got the water balloons inside? Who's climbing up the stucco wall? You never know what's going on.
Yeah, and Charlie especially was like getting all up in my bookshelves, was fascinated with all my figures and stuff, which is all fine, except I'm like running through my head like, oh, she is taking books off the shelf. Is there anything that I would not feel comfortable with her flipping open to a random page of? Yes, there is. That is everything on my bookshelf. Because I have a lot of Berserk and Gantz on my bookshelf, and you don't know what that is. I can show you later. People at home know what that is. Oh, it's great. It's the best. Maybe not for someone Charlie's age.
Not for Charlie?
No.
She's 11.
Definitely not. Absolutely not.
Oh, neat. I'm looking forward to it. Wait, someone said I have an excessive amount of children, and I'm sorry I missed who it was, but I'm going to unequivocally agree. That's a true story. Lots of kids. See, the kid agrees that I've got a lot of kids.
See, I feel with the same way about children in the household as I do about pets. Don't let the animals outnumber the humans.
Oh.
And don't let the children outnumber the adults. Now, obviously, this is a bad philosophy because if everybody followed it, the human race would die out.
Right.
But
Ben's got like a one-child policy. You live in the wrong country, buddy. What? She said the cats are going to outnumber my kids soon, and she's got a point. So I have one going off to college, and my 4 daughters, one of them is going off to college in August in Pennsylvania, and that will make 4 cats and 3 kids. So now my cats will outnumber my kids, and that feels like a problem too. Hi, Rattlesnake. Wait, I should know, but I don't. Can someone explain? What are we explaining? What did we miss?
Yeah, we missed it. Somebody else in chat will have to we'll have to get at it.
I am becoming a cat lady.
But speaking of the stories we tell each other or ourselves about the ice bath, so I went dancing again last night.
Shut your mouth!
Yes.
You didn't tell me on purpose.
I was down in Tucson dog sitting for my sister who was out of town because I've got another friend that I do another podcast with, and he says to me the last time we record, Ben, I need to stop asking you how you're doing. And because he just asked me, so hey, how's it going? What's new? I said, yeah, nothing big. My uncle just died of leukemia.
Oh.
Yeah. Every time he asks me, hey, how you doing? It's some new horrible thing.
Oh, yeah.
So,
all right.
But yeah, my uncle just died of leukemia. He'd been fighting. Well, he'd been like symptom free for 15 years, and then it just suddenly came back. And
damn it.
But
I'm sorry, Ben.
Yeah, I wasn't super close with this particular uncle, but
still,
yeah. Other members of my family are my immediate family living down in Tucson. So my mom and my sister went to the funeral, and my way of the thing I can do to pitch in is go take care of my sister's dog. So I did.
Got it.
But I doubled it up with a trip down to do the blues dancing thing. Mm-hmm. And the lady who runs the group, she starts every lesson with "Remember to breathe."
Got it. We'll get back to that. Continue. Hold pin in that one. Yeah. I'm with you.
She says, "Remember to breathe," and that's one of those things like when you tell somebody to calm down, which is just counterproductive, because
relax.
Yeah, all that "Remember to breathe" does is make me aware that I'm forgetting to breathe, which I am. So I understand the impulse,
right?
But I'll just, during the dance lesson, every once in a while it'll occur to me, remember to breathe. Am I breathing? Oh, God, what am I doing? Where am I? And just, yeah.
Maybe not breathing was working for you.
Yeah, maybe. Except this was the first time I've gone back since doing the ice baths on the daily. And this time I got it. It clicked with me. Because that deep, measured breathing that you have to do in the ice bath, or at least I have to do, to keep myself from doing the
gaspy business,
gaspy deedly. Once I started doing that on the dance floor, like, oh, now I get what she was trying to tell me to do.
Oh.
Yeah, like, I can do this.
Did it help? Did it relax you?
It did. Yeah, because, I've also talked about that on the show. Going dancing is like constantly pushing against my social anxiety. And that was a lot better, and I was more relaxed and having more fun.
Okay.
And
so you're butting up against your statement, like, there's no empirical evidence that ice baths help anybody, but hey, my life is way better now.
No, I never said that there's no empirical evidence. I said that I have not looked at the science.
Gotcha.
Yeah, people who are more well-informed than I am assure me.
Wait, still waiting for a demonstration of what? What did we miss?
The dancing.
Oh, the dancing! Well, I'm going to forgive you for not telling me you went dancing given the situation. That's a little solipsistic of me. Like, why didn't you tell me? My uncle died. Okay. I'm sorry. Shame. Yeah. More shame.
Well, and I wasn't going to go. I was going to drive down there, do the dog, drive back, do a stream. And then I did that on Monday. Mm-hmm. And that stream was fine, but maybe not worth driving an extra hour and a half back here for. So I said, Tuesday I'm gonna stay in Tucson. I'm gonna go dancing. I'm gonna stay overnight. I just drove back up this morning. So yeah, that was kind of a last minute thing.
I love that you went. I think that's good. And I love that you had the breathy new experience.
Yeah.
Less anxious. Does size matter, bro? We've already had that conversation. We've touched on that topic.
I think Gamer5897 might be trolling.
Oh.
I can't tell. It's hard to tell because I cultivate a very dry and sarcastic feel around here.
Holy
so it's hard to tell. Thank you, Drealith, for 14 months. But yes, it is hard to distinguish sometimes between people just being goofs and people actually trolling with malice. So I'm gonna assume just being a goof.
Now, last week we had an interesting friend come in,
I'm pretty sure that dude was actually just trolling.
Yeah, right.
Although, here's the thing. I can appreciate a good troll.
Sure.
Like when you just come in, just, spamming nonsense and,
That's a good one or a bad one?
No, that's a bad one.
Okay,
click, ban. Like, that guy was riding the line of being just provocative enough, but not provocative enough to get kicked out.
Yeah.
That I can respect.
Yeah.
And also, if somebody does cross over the line, I can always just boot them or ask the mods to do it.
Kick it out. What is happening? He's still going.
Yeah, he's still going. It's fine.
I thought you did good last week of modulating the conversation, or not moderating. Yeah. Modulating is a different word. Moderating the conversation. It was good. Indeed. What was I going to ask you? Oh, okay. All right. I had this, it's random.
Okay.
I had a random thought. Something came up in my podcast about I'm still looking for things that we disagree about.
Yes.
My favorite murder podcast. Are you familiar?
Super
popular. Millions of listeners.
I might have heard the title. Is this like true crime?
Yeah. Two ladies who sit on their couch and they talk about true crime.
Okay.
And it's called My Favorite Murder. And I don't like it. And everybody likes it, and I hate it. And I think I don't watch true crime stuff because I think it's so disrespectful. It depersonalizes it and dehumanizes it, and I think it desensitizes people to a degree. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think a podcast called My Favorite Murder makes sense in some way? Am I taking it too seriously? Am I the asshole?
I understand why there would be an appeal. I think it's one of those things. Okay, Zodiac Eclipse is into true crime broadcasts.
So you know My Favorite Murder, because that's everyone's jam. I do have to say that I loved Serial. It was a good one. Anyway.
Yeah, but so when I worked at the library, I would shelve, there was a whole true crime section, and I've never read a true crime book. I haven't listened to the podcasts. But I would shelve the books, and I would read the book jacket as I'm shelving. And I remember just thinking, if somebody is browsing this section, like somebody who's a fan of this stuff, how do they choose which book they check out and take home with them? Are they flipping through ooh, this one ate the bodies before he... what is... I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah.
But...
Nor I.
It's one of those things that I categorize alongside... professional wrestling, where in an abstract sense, I sort of get the appeal, but also the more I look into it and the more deeply I think about it, the more I see some really problematic shit involved with it.
Right. Can we throw NASCAR into that group?
See, I don't even know enough about NASCAR to know that it's problematic.
Well, it's cars.
Yeah.
And it's going in circles.
Yeah.
And then some people wait for one of them to flip. That's my understanding.
Yeah.
Is it the fun of the NASCAR is waiting for one of them to flip?
Yeah. I'm not above this. I watched the world's craziest sports bloopers, which are people getting horribly maimed for my entertainment. Mm-hmm. But it's not something I go out of my way for.
Agreed. Yeah, we're turning murder into entertainment.
Yeah.
It feels problematic.
I feel like somebody who's a fan, maybe Zodiac could make a case for why there is value to be had and it's not just garbage, or maybe not. I don't know, because there's stuff that I like that I will straight up tell you, yeah, that's just straight up garbage.
Right.
There's no redeeming quality. I don't know why I like it.
Say commenting on movies. What is that called? While movies are going and you comment, you had
yeah, the
your lowest form of
reaction videos.
There you go. But we're gonna do it anyway.
Yeah.
And I also have to say, God damn it, because I was looking for something we disagreed on, and you let me down once again. Nova's waiting for a judgment on Dance Monkey Dance. If that's offensive to say to you.
To say, no, just don't
expect
anything to happen.
Hey, I didn't think it was offensive either. We're not all that serious. I don't take it that seriously. Minnie's fine right now. I've never seen that look on her face. Holy cow. You're going to have to... It's going to be like Lady and the Tramp up in here when you have kids. Because Minnie was like... Who are these people, and get them out of my house now. You know what I mean? During Lady, do you remember that movie?
I remember the spaghetti kiss, and that's what I remember from that movie.
Okay, so they have a dog and Lady, right. And then they go have a baby, and then they bring the baby home, and Lady's freaking out because they're not paying attention to her anymore, and then she runs away like a little bitch.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't remember anything about the plot.
Yeah.
That's like Socks. You ever read Socks by Beverly Cleary?
No, I did like Beverly Cleary, but no.
Okay, one of the more obscure by that. I mean, prolific author, but
Right.
yeah, it was written from the point of view of a cat, and the cat's owners had a baby, and all of a sudden the cat's getting no attention, and it's all an allegory for, sibling rivalry, and here's the children's book that you give your kids when you're bringing home a new baby to make them okay with it.
Right, because it's the cat that's jealous.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Right.
just a little bit less on the nose than actually having it be a kid.
Right. She gets, oh, shit, I ruined it. She gets put outside because of the Siamese cats, because the aunt is there. I remember, and those cats were the bitches. They really were. They were assholes. Cats can be assholes.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that, too, just because it's...
the aunt was a bitch, not lady. Well, I mean... I can. This is fan fiction. I can read. I'm fixing it.
Because the Siamese cats were a little racist, maybe. Little one of those things that you look back on, and it's like, oh, that was maybe not okay, but it was the 80s or whatever.
I was gonna say, you mean like every movie in the 80s?
Yeah.
Just a little racist and just a little rapey.
It's funny too how. I don't have kids. I can only imagine how it changes after you have kids. But just having nieces and nephews, because before my sister started having kids, like Disney is infamous for censoring things when it goes out on video. Like you cannot buy the original version of Fantasia.
Why? What do they have in there?
Because there's some seriously racist shit in.
Do they really?
Yeah, and it's poorly cropped out because it's the segment with all the Pegasi and unicorns and stuff.
Okay.
Well, this is not in any of the home video releases. But in certain scenes, you can see a white Pegasus getting her hooves shined by a black Pegasus.
No.
Yeah. Google this. Do a Google image search for
I feel like I don't want to do that.
Fantasia racist horses or something, and it'll come up.
I feel like that'll ruin my day.
And so the way they dealt with this is this is just like this is all on the edge, like in the background, so they just zoom into the center of the scene.
Yeah.
And if you're looking for it, it's like, oh yeah, this one shot looks all fuzzy and shitty because they zoomed way in on the least problematic piece of the shot.
So you got to look on the periphery.
Yeah. So stuff like that, or like, I love Peter Pan as a kid. Can we just that movie's great. Except for what makes the red man red. Can we just
right.
Is there a scene from Pocahontas, but when people started caring about this stuff, that we could just swap out for that one scene and make the version that I could show my nephew without having to have a whole conversation?
Right. Same with Pinocchio's got stuff.
Probably.
Yep.
Yeah.
As does. What's the one with the elephants?
Dumbo.
Dumbo's got stuff too.
The crow's name is Jim Crow.
Yeah. Yikes, Dumbo, that's the one. Boo. We lived during that time.
Yeah.
And we thought it was great.
Yeah, it was fine.
This is fine.
No problem.
There's nothing wrong with this. We were wrong.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. See, I don't even want to bring up, I can think of other examples. Why? We're not going to call attention to them. We're just going to let them fade into sad history. Do you watch Drunk History?
I have watched Drunk History.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's so good. So many ideas. Let's do Drunk Podcast. It could be fun. Not podcast, live stream. That's the word.
I'm the worst when it comes to, that was one of the problems with my stream on Mondays. I thought, I'm streaming in the evening. I don't.
You were drunk?
Do that. I had some bourbon, and I'm not. I mean, certainly not on a stream where I'm not having physical, interaction face to face with another person who's also drinking. Mm-hmm. So there's not that social atmosphere. It's just me sitting here drinking, talking at people, and so
Ben drinking alone on a live stream.
A little bit. Yeah, that was not. Turns out that doesn't put me in a good frame of mind to be outgoing and extroverted and bring all that fun stream energy.
Do you drink when you go not swing dancing, not soul dancing, blues dancing? Do you drink?
No.
Okay.
I might.
You gotta loosen up a little.
Might do, don't drink, no.
Cool. I feel like I would. I almost went salsa dancing the other night,
Yeah?
and then I didn't.
Why not?
Drama. I know. But I almost did. Do I get credit for that?
Well,
That doesn't even give you credit for showing up. I put it on my calendar. But then it didn't happen. I'm kind of disappointed in myself.
Yeah, I don't think that counts for much.
Damn it.
That is neither horseshoes nor hand grenades.
Right. So what else is new? Look, we have a lapse. Throw something at me, Ben.
So here's something that
Grab
I've been
your
wanting to
phone.
do. Hold on, I'm gonna pop up my phone here. So this is something that I've done a couple of times on stream, which is live readings of my current draft of the thing I'm working on.
Oh!
You got a thing.
Also, Death Jest got a thing.
Yay!
Yeah, usually I mute that, but that's okay. Thank you, Death Jest, for 12 months of support.
Cheers.
Yeah. Okay, let me find it here, because, yeah, I've got my latest version of the Eloy thing, which is short.
Oh my God!
Yay!
Thank you,
Cheers.
Captain Lucianello.
Awesome.
All right, find it here.
My bad. No, you're good. Not bad. Good.
Like log, it's better than bad.
It's better than bad. It's good. I
Boom.
love that you know that. There's no greater friend than one who shares your Ren and Stimpy references.
It's good stuff.
It's a true story.
Until it was bad.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was good.
It was very good.
And then it was bad.
Yeah. Okay, so this is... So a standard children's book I have learned as I've been doing my research for this project. Folks who don't know, I'm working on adapting the origin story of Eloy, my D&D character from back in the TFS at the Table days, into a children's picture book at the behest of a friend of mine who he's got a little daughter. He's got two little daughters now, like little. Tiny. Yeah, and he read the medium piece that I'm sure somebody can punch in the Nightbot command and give you the link if you're interested, that I wrote about what that character meant to me and how, in retrospect, I realized he was a way of dealing with grief over the death of my brother. And he said, Ben, can you make this story into a children's book? Because sooner or later, something's going to happen to one of my parents, and I'm going to need to tell my kids something.
Right.
I'm not religious. I don't believe in an afterlife. I don't want to take the easy way out and tell my children something that I myself don't believe.
Right.
But I
Could use a little help here.
Use a little help. I would love to be able to just pull my copy of Eloy the Existentialist Donkey down off the shelf and you'll read that to them. And that idea stuck in my head, and now I'm doing it.
Love it.
Yeah.
Do it.
And I sent him... I've sent this manuscript around to a couple of people. Yeah, that's a working title, Zodiac Eclipse.
I think it is.
I don't know, like... I sort of like the idea of that as a final title, but I don't know. I need to do some more market research before I start making decisions like that.
I think it's fantastic.
Like, it's a... I mean, it's a balancing act, because... What I've been learning as I've been doing my research is that the market for children's books is not children, it is parents, because parents are the ones who buy it.
This is true.
So, putting in enough for the parents without, I also don't want to alienate the children.
No, but they will go to kindergarten knowing the word existential.
Yeah.
Which I think is good for them.
But I did, one of the folks that I sent this manuscript to, so I've gotten feedback from two people so far.
Oh my
Kenny,
God.
who's my friend who gave me the idea in the first place.
Here.
Hi, Bold Kingsby. He gave me, bless his heart, because he gave me the idea. He gave me no useful feedback because he's too close to the project.
Right.
He feels very strongly about it, so he is Mr. Don't change a thing, it's perfect. Which,
Like emotionally
yeah,
attached.
Okay. It's not perfect, though.
Right.
But my other friend, who's a school teacher and is very plugged into, concerns of parents and concerns of teachers and parents groups and, schools and libraries that might potentially be buying copies. So he gave me a lot of good feedback, which I've mostly implemented here. But,
Are you gonna read it?
Okay, sorry.
I've never. No. I was just curious.
I am
We're
going to
doing
read
a.
it.
We're doing a read, right?
We're doing
All
the
right.
live read.
I'm gonna
All right.
listen.
Eloy was an asinine centaur. He had the top half of a human and the bottom half of a donkey. He had a father named Buckeye, a mother named Peoria, and a sister named Paige. Yeah. They lived in a herd of centaurs high up on Old Lady Big Rock Mountain. Eloy loved to listen to the birds sing. He tried to sing too, but what came out was a donkey bray. Yee-haw! The other centaurs said, if you were meant to sing, you'd have been born a bird. One day, a strange two-legged man came to Old Lady Big Rock Mountain. The centaurs called him Haffy. Haffy loved to tell stories of his home on the plains where it was flat and covered in grass instead of rocks. Haffy had a magic wand called a flute that made a sound like birdsong.
Oh.
Eloy asked to borrow the flute. Squawk! Haffy laughed. It takes hard work and practice, he said. I'll teach you. Every day, Eloy practiced with Haffy's flute. Every day, Eloy got better and better. One day, as Eloy was playing his flute, a rock slide came and buried Paige and Haffy. Eloy and his mother and father worked hard and dug them out. Paige's leg was twisted. Haffy's head was hurt. Eloy's mother wrapped bandages around them and asked Old Lady Big Rock Mountain to heal them. All that night, Eloy sat and played his flute over Paige and Haffy as they slept. The next morning, Paige's leg felt better. She said, "Your magic music healed me, Eloy." But Haffy's head was still hurt, and he would not wake up. He was not breathing. Eloy's father said that Haffy had died in the night. Eloy's mother said, Old Lady Big Rock Mountain has taken Haffy to live with her. He will be happier now. She said, Eloy, you must leave Haffy's flute with him. Donkeys are not meant to sing like birds. That is why Old Lady Big Rock Mountain sent a rock slide. Eloy's father said, it's true that rock slides sometimes come after loud noises. It's not safe to play the flute on the mountain. That night, Eloy could not sleep. He walked away from the herd under the moon and found his father there waiting for him. Eloy asked his father, how can Old Lady Big Rock Mountain have taken Haffy to live with her? He's still here, he's just not moving around anymore. Eloy's father sighed. I don't think Old Lady Big Rock Mountain took Haffy to live with her. His arms and legs and head and heart are still here, but the part that made them Haffy is gone. Eloy didn't understand. But where did it go? Eloy's father asked, I remember the world before you were born, Eloy. Where were you then? I don't remember, said Eloy. One day there was nothing, said Eloy's father, and the next day there was you. That's what happened to Haffy, but the other way around. One moment there was Haffy. The next moment there was nothing. Eloy started to cry. Except for one thing, said Eloy's father. When Haffy was alive, he told us stories of his home. He taught you to play the flute. Those things did not go away because Haffy is gone. That's what's left of Haffy in the world now, Eloy. Not the arms and legs and head and heart that aren't him anymore. You. Eloy stayed up all that night, deep in thought. The next day, Eloy packed a sack full of food. He hugged his mother and his sister goodbye and promised to visit and set off to travel the world. Everywhere he went, he told stories of his friend Haffy and of his family who still lived on Old Lady Big Rock Mountain. Everywhere Eloy went, he would play on Haffy's flute. And sometimes, when he met a little two-legged boy or girl who wanted to learn, he would teach them to play the flute too.
Aww. How cute is that? I like it. I like it. What do you, what tell me. How do you feel about it?
So it's come a long way. It's been, because this is a character that evolved over about 2 years of weekly D&D sessions.
Right.
So condensing that down into a children's
It
book.
was good, right? It was. I'm like, whoa.
It's been, because there were originally a lot more characters. I wound up combining some. He was going to have a brother. It was going to be this, that, and the other thing. It's like, no, it's got to be, if I want to get everything in there that I want to get in there, it's got to be as simple a story as it can be.
Okay. Two things.
Okay.
Here are my thoughts.
Sure.
Is he not, like, does he grow up and then take off? Or is he just like, I'm a kid and I'm going to go roam the countryside?
That's a good question. I hadn't considered that. His age is, I mean, the original version of the character in the D&D campaign, he was, I don't know, 20.
Yeah, you're going to have to re-educate people.
Yeah, but yeah, that's his age in this version of the story is...
It seems young.
Sort of, yeah, it seems young, but it's sort of vague.
Mm-hmm. What about also... I got to put these stupid glasses back on. Also... What is the significance of the, like, mom and dad being like, don't play the flute, don't play the flute? That seems like it's saying something. Is it supposed to be representative of, like, religion? Like, it happened for a reason? Or is it supposed to be, like, overprotective parents? Like, what is that?
Yeah, that's something else that I've sort of gone back and forth on in different drafts. Because at first it was much more coming specifically from his mother. Mm-hmm. And I felt that made his mother too unsympathetic. Mm-hmm. That's not what I'm going for. Mm-hmm. So I just changed that to a generic, all of the other reindeer, the other centaurs said this. She does repeat it once.
And I like the idea of that because the premise is like, oh, well, religious people have their comfort and we don't. So I almost saw it as like, oh, so maybe it's analogous to like when an atheist hears a religious person being like, oh, well, it happened for a reason, or now they're with the Lord, like they're with right.
Yeah, and that very much is.
There might be some more tightening up of that though, because I wasn't sure.
Yeah, and I'm not sure. Again, this is, if I were writing it for an adult audience only, I would say no, leave everything wide open. It is all up to reader interpretation.
Right. Yeah, but no, the point of making it for kids is to help them understand, like give them a direction for their thoughts, help them make meaning of it.
So my thinking is like, it is like it's there to say like this is one story that people tell, and we are not here like the story is. It's not the story of how Eloy overthrew the horrible religious oppressors of his tribe. Well, it was him realizing this story doesn't work for me, and finding a story that does.
Because he does go on to play the flute, even though they're like, don't play the flute in the hills.
Well, and it was specifically don't play the flute on the mountain where rock slides happen. He had to leave to play the flute. And that is...
Well, what's the meaning behind that? Behind assigning... It almost seems superfluous.
Yeah, that might be...
Something to think about. Make a note.
Yeah, that's definitely something to think about, because that might be... That's something that was very important to the previous iteration of his character, because there was a whole subplot which was just too much for this version.
Yeah, so it's like a little nod to that. Oh, there you go, Zodiac. There's some stuff from the campaign in there that doesn't really fit with this standalone. Yeah, and that can see, this is good feedback, because that can be hard for you to see because you're not objected. You're like, no, it makes sense. And I'm like, wait, I've never heard it before. Maybe not so much.
Yeah,
Something to think of. I liked it, Ben. I thought it was great.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think the flute as it is right now is kind of this weird artifact where either I need to restore the context that makes it make sense, which would make this a longer, more in-depth story, or I need to just excise it altogether.
Well, but I like the way the flute ties in it. Like, I like that he brought the flute and he played the flute, and then he goes on to play the flute, and that's sort of like carrying him forward, even though he's not really there. That's all great.
Yeah, just the part about donkeys not being meant to sing like birds, and that, that part maybe doesn't need to be there.
It might just be like, hey.
Might be enough to just have it be a skill that he learned from his friend that he's now passing on.
Worldwide Wimpy says the religious subtext probably can go, and it's perfect. I mean, it's something to play with. There might be a way to do the religious subtext that's a little more clear, or you could try scrapping it and just seeing what it sounds like without.
I don't know what it would be without that.
I don't know. I'm thinking about the story without without mom saying, "Oh, well, without the explanations that there was a reason," and Eloy just being like, I don't know what's going on, you know? I don't know that it's that you need the contrast, but it's worth looking into. I agree. The flute's cool. The asinine. Okay, what's the asinine centaur?
Okay, so yeah, that's
the first thing. I'm like, asinine.
That is another thing that I'm not sure how I left it in there just because I get a kick out of it.
Yeah.
But it's really just a dumb in joke because asinine. I mean, we all know what the modern words, what the modern meaning of the word is, like dumb and stubborn and backwards. But literally, kids definitely won't get it.
Right.
And maybe it just needs to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, the word asinine literally just means like an ass,
no,
like a donkey.
Right. So it's got a couple layers there.
So an asinine centaur is just a centaur with a donkey half instead of a horse half, which would be an equine centaur.
Right.
And yeah, that can probably go because kids aren't gonna get it. That is, if it stays at all, is just as a cute little bonus for the parents. Like the the word existentialist, if that stays in the title.
I like the existentialist.
Okay.
I wonder if there's there's a silly word you could replace asinine with that would be more relatable.
Yeah.
Because it does seem like an inside joke. Like, it was like, why is the asinines? What? Made me think for a second.
Yeah. But, I mean, everything else could be... Yeah, well, that's true too, Speckled Bird. I
think some parents, probably your chat and myself are all, down with asinine.
Yeah.
But maybe not everybody is.
Yeah, well, and then the question would be, I guess, because Speckled Bird says, what if he's just a donkey, not even a centaur? That would be one way to go.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could also just drop the word asinine and just I like the idea that there's some subtext in there that he's a half and half creature. He is part human and part animal.
Right.
And there is some, and the having the birds in there.
These are so many good ideas. Do you get a transcript of this chat? Can you go back and read it?
Yeah, you can.
Do that. This is good feedback. I think there's credit to including things that don't quite make sense to all children. They fill in the gaps well. It's when you're looking back for all the readers.
Yeah.
But the gaps have to be there to fill in. I would stray a little further, maybe from the inside knowledge. But
what was I about to say? So things I do want to, because that's about 600 words, and a standard children's book is about 500. So
you've got some editing space.
Yeah, it would be nice to be able to streamline it a little bit. Dropping some of the more overtly religious stuff might help with that.
Well, you can try different versions. Just cut it out and then read it out loud.
Yeah. Dropping the bit about the other centaurs not being about the flute could.
Yeah. I agree. I do like the idea of it's simplifying. It's just, we haven't seen this before. Hey, it's a thing that's new to us, and I took to it even though it's not made for me, and then I carry it on.
Yeah.
I being Eloy, not me personally.
Yeah.
No, I heard good things about Eloy.
Oh, thanks, Tiango. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with that character. That was Eloy's what the flute used to signify is it in the original version it was a much more oppressive society. And they also the flute was much more explicitly magical, and that might be something that I don't know if that super needs to be there.
Yeah.
'Cause the only remnant of that is the sister saying, "You healed me with your magic flute."
Right.
Well, in the original version, it was literally magic coming from, and he could heal people. And the tribal elders decided, oh, this is black magic. This isn't the good religious magic that we're into. So you either have to give this up or go. And he decided to accept exile so that he could nurture this talent that he had.
Well, I liked it in the without having any of that knowledge. I did actually like that part in the context of this story because it was sort of like an analog for how people like see like they didn't know anything about it and maybe it's magic, but it's not because somebody died. You know what I mean? Like I didn't get healed, so I don't know. It fits. I feel like it's a good fit at that depth.
Yeah, like. I don't know that it's necessary. I don't know how necessary it is that it be literally magic, but it's something that is empowering for Eloy.
I think so. I think it's good, Ben. I think you're onto something. Keep it up.
Yeah, so that's one thing. My other concern is that the last big scene is like the whole scene with Eloy and his father is very talky, and that's something that I'll want to work real closely with whatever artist I choose. And I've been shopping around for artists. Like how does that scene? How is that visualized? How does that become visually dynamic and not just a bunch of talking heads?
Right.
And that's entirely out of my wheelhouse because I'm not an artist. I'm not a designer.
Right.
So we shall see.
Keep thinking about that one.
Yeah. That's something that that's some big, heavy, and very abstract concepts to try to get across to children.
Right.
That's gone through a couple of big revisions at
Okay,
this
but
point.
that's why there isn't one now. That's
Yeah.
why there's a knowledge gap here because it's a difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
If it was easy to do, it'd be done.
Yeah. Well, and that's when I wrote about it in the Medium article, I described that scene, and a very similar scene happened very differently where it was a magically animated gargoyle, and that was actually a really good metaphor that just there were too many elements for me to try to cram into 500 words.
Right.
I would have had to introduce the gargoyle and the wizard and the idea that this is a world where wizards can make gargoyles be alive. And
Right.
It's like, no.
You need that backstory.
Yeah, simplify.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's good. And I think you can do that without taking like the heart out of it, without taking the meat out of it.
Yeah.
So I think you're onto something. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm glad I got to hear this version, because I usually read things first.
Yeah.
So it was super objective.
Yeah. Well, that was I think it was you who suggested like, hey, read this stuff out loud and see if it scans, and
that's my jam.
Yeah, and that is
Pro writing tip.
Yeah,
when
that's
you write, read it out loud afterward.
Yeah, and that's a tip that I've heard a lot and never actually like put into practice until you.
But you did it when I said so.
You did, and then that's when I started reading stuff for Stream, and it has been very helpful.
Series, that's a great idea too.
Yeah, one thing at a time. We'll
do the thing first.
Yeah.
Really good about what is Ender? Is Ender's Game a book?
Yes, Ender's Game is a book.
Okay.
That's one that I read as a kid. That, it's one of those that does a really good job at being very readable and very relatable when you read it, even as a relatively young child. I read it when I was in middle school the first time, but that when you reread it at different age and maturity levels, it's like, oh, okay, there's lots more to this.
Right.
Also, the author is is a terrible homophobe, but
Oh.
managed to keep that out of Ender's Game.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now,
is this another 1980s thing where we go back and we're like, ew.
some of his other, I got deep into his like back catalog, and some of his books I go back to now, and it's like, wow,
Like,
okay,
darn.
wow, how did I miss that? This entire book was about how gay people are pedophiles.
Oh, God.
Yeah, but Ender's Game, out of everything that he's written, still holds up. Like, okay, dude has some problematic opinions, but not so much in this book.
But the book standalone
Yeah,
works.
the book stands.
Will you get me another glass of water?
Yes.
Thanks, Boo. Gonna have to count on the bone. Later, Gator. I always wondered why he was trash. Well, you brought some depth to our conversation today. We haven't been deep for a minute.
Yeah, but I've been really trying to push forward with that, 'cause it's one of those things that's been sort of on the various levels of back burner, and yeah.
Do you know what fan fiction Nova Blaze writes?
I have no idea.
Fill me in. I want to know.
Do not know.
I'm very curious. Modest Pelican Gaming always talks about that in his videos. Yeah. Bear with me. My writer interest is piqued with this fan fiction stuff. You dig fan fiction, right? You read some fan fiction? She thinks she reads some. Maybe. Okay, I'm ready to out myself as a different kind of nerd.
Okay.
And also a little Walmart nerd because I love Jane Austen, which I know is like super trendy in the last 5 years, but I love Jane Austen since I was like 12 years old. And yes, I love Jane Austen before it was cool. And my favorite fan fiction from Pride and Prejudice is a book called Mr. Darcy Takes a Wife. So I'm just sharing, if you like Pride and Prejudice, go read that one. It's one of the books on my shelf that is like waterlogged and the pages are torn and the cover is unrecognizable because it's so worn. But I love it, so I do fan fiction too. But I still haven't heard which fan fiction she's writing. Bad lip reading of horrible fan fiction is surprisingly fun. I think any bad lip reading is fun. I don't know how many years ago I saw that for the first time, but it was my favorite thing for a solid minute.
That's pretty all right.
Yeah. Thomas MLP crossover called Equestrian Railway Tales.
So that would be, I'm guessing from context, Thomas is Thomas the Tank Engine, and MLP is My Little Pony.
That's so fun. Oh no. I want it. Find me. Send me. Want to read.
When I was in high school, I tricked my high school literary magazine into publishing a Star Wars fan fiction that I wrote, which then got them inundated by submissions of fan fiction, and they had to institute a no Star Wars or Star Trek rule.
Published where in
In the high school.
in the high school paper?
So there was a high school paper. I never worked on that. But there
Okay.
was also a high school
Like
literary
news-
magazine
oh.
that published like poems and short stories by students.
You went to one of those schools.
Yeah.
It had a literary
Yeah.
newsletter.
Yeah. Now this was not a school project. It had far too much swearing to ever get approved or a faculty advisor.
Yeah.
But I also, every month when the school newspaper would come out, I would write an Onion-esque parody of it.
Oh, fun.
And yeah.
That's funny. I had like a sarcastic column in my school newspaper too. That's neat.
Yeah, and I would also there would be a section at the end where I would list all of the typos that I found in the current issue of all the spelling and punctuation and grammatical errors.
Love it.
I was that asshole.
You were an English major
Yeah.
before you graduated.
And my dad would always say, Ben, why don't you volunteer to be on the staff and proofread for them, and then they wouldn't have typos? And I said, because it's more fun to tear things down than to build them up, Dad.
Sure. That makes sense to me. Oh my gosh. That I'm laughing at. How do you say that name? Biascar?
I think it's supposed to be B-Scar.
B-Scar? Scar. I don't know if you remember the license plate game from like when we were kids. I know you and I are only like 2 years apart. So maybe you remember this game show where they would put up a license plate and you had to guess what it said.
No, I don't remember.
I spent too much time home. I was a super latchkey kid. Yeah, so they put up license plates and I was really bad at that game. So I didn't even see the scar. I was like, BS car, bullshit car, 1980. I imagine a car from 1980 would be kind of bullshit right now. It's a play on my name. Can we play the guessing game for the name? Oh my goodness. Shh, you're being too loud.
Oh, no.
That's too much. Oh, shit. Okay, so I'm going to be able to access that later. Is that right? Okay. Cool. Thanks. I'm going to check it out.
Yeah, can somebody hit us up on uptime command real quick?
What
we'll
is
find
that?
a time code and then you'll
Cool.
be able to see, because it's the archive just has the video and then it just
Brian Scarberry. Oh,
okay, so
that makes sense.
yeah.
You had the scar right.
Yeah.
Ah,
So-
shoot. Somebody just. I wanted to see I wanted to guess the name and it left. I can't read it now. I can't
But
see
yeah,
it.
like an hour and 10 minutes. If you go to the archive, about an hour and 10 minutes in, that's where you'll find that link.
Write that down. Will you text that to me? Thank you.
Yep. Thanks, Muscle Moon.
Thank you. I'm gonna check it out. Brian Scarberry, that makes sense. And I'm guessing 1980 is the birth year. We're really outing him here. He's got no privacy. We go find him on the internet. Again, what's with the silence, man?
I don't know. It feels like we usually go for a million years.
A million years. Like an hour and 10, that's the shortest ever.
And that would be the shortest we've ever gone.
Well, since we've done this.
Yeah.
Our first one was shorter. It was my name who was asking for funsies. What? Hold on. Lord Genesect.
Either Genesect or
Jenny
Genesect?
Genesect. Genese. Oh, see, I'm so bad. Lord. I got the Lord part.
Yeah.
Winning.
Without even an underscore.
Lord.
Just intercapped.
Lord Genesect. Genesect. Like Genesis, but Genesect. Is that... There's a condition I asked you to... Of course, I'll tell you what I think. I love to be able to tell people what I think. Let's do that. Lord Genesect! Yay! Well, that was fun.
Genesis?
Insect!
Okay.
Did I say that because I was thinking it? Did I say something about an insect? If I didn't, I'm very disappointed in myself. Like, did you get that? Genesect? I'm sad. Okay, so 2 of my kids are Pokemon spazzes. No, Manny's a... 2 of my kids are Pokemon freaks. At least one in a really serious way. What? She knows all the Pokemon things. So I brought the wrong kid today because she would have been like, duh. But your name Paige, and that was a good fit.
So all the names are cities in Arizona.
Peoria.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask you about. I was like Peoria
Yeah.
and Paige. That's spelled
something
differently.
else I'm not sure about, because I love dumb pun names or having a theme to names. Mm-hmm. But I'm not sure if it's strictly necessary to, because for the rest of the book they're just called Eloy's mother and Eloy's father. I don't know if it's necessary to name them in the beginning there.
You could make it more less obvious, because you're like Peoria. I mean, for me, I'm from Illinois. I'm like, that's a city. Mm-hmm. And Arizona, there's Peoria. Yeah. There's a ton of Peoria. It's like Springfield, which is also a town I'm from. But I wonder if you could do, you could make plays like that, but just less obvious. Mm-hmm. Like, I bet there are city names that sound more like Paige's total name.
Yeah, not that many, actually, in Arizona. I was
Mesa.
looking through
You have a friend named Mesa? Chandler. Chandler's a name. Also a city.
True. Yeah.
Gilbert. I think you missed a few.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yes.
Oh
Gilbert's a
yeah,
name.
Gilbert's a name. Well, I wanted ones that sound like names, but
Illinois.
not like recognizable Earthrealm names.
Well, that's what I'm saying, though. I think maybe going Earthrealm, and then like a few people will be like, "Wait a minute, those are all cities in Illinois."
Yeah,
It's just a thought.
but yeah, that was how I came up with the name Eloy. Is I just driving from Tucson to Phoenix, I would always see the sign for Eloy, and I always thought it sounded like a redneck name. Hey, Eloy.
It does. You nailed it. Oh, Chicago.
That was the genesis of the character. It was a pirate ship themed campaign, and I thought, what would be the goofiest type of creature to have on a sailing ship? And I decided it would be a donkey man from the mountains who was like an Appalachian redneck.
I think you're right. For a pirate ship?
Yep.
Yeah. Nailed it. Cheers to that. I mean, I guess we could wrap it up in like an hour and 15 minutes. Person named Weed. There's some weird town names. Yeah, and again, I like the idea of you going like more conventional, and then only like really observant people would pick it out. You seem to be emotionally attached to this idea.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm realizing is if I'm not going to call them Buckeye and Peoria, there's no reason to give them names at the beginning.
Well, have you tried though? Have you tried calling them names like later in the story?
I thought about it, but since it's all written from Eloy's perspective, I don't think that quite works, because when you're talking to your mom or your dad, you're not thinking, I wonder what. Well, I don't. Other people do. Tom's kids do.
Right.
They all call him Tom.
They do.
But that's never how
And
I
they
did.
call their mom the mom's name too.
Do they?
Yep. I'm not. Yeah, it's true.
Kelly. There we go.
Yeah.
Found it.
Well, I knew the name. I was trying to be like.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I was trying to be like, you know. That's okay though. El Paso, Illinois. Yeah, that's true. All right, so we got one. Let's do this one more topic.
Okay.
Here is a topic for you two. Which old school Disney movie would you like to see remade? Shit.
Is none of them an option?
It's got to be, because I got to tell you what. I got 4 girls. None of them. Well, I'm going straight for the princess movies, but none of them were like Disney princess girls. And I had a sister-in-law who was obsessed with Disney. Like, spent way too much of her already limited income on like Disney trips, and she had a Disney room in her house, and it was just gauche. Right. But I don't get into Disney. I don't do it. I don't want to take my kids to Disneyland. I don't want to go to Disney cruise. Am I the asshole?
I mean, everybody's allowed to not like things. That said, I like Disney fine. I mean, not all of it equally.
Disney the guy seemed like a cool guy.
I mean,
right? Wasn't he for his time like an innovative, pretty good guy?
I mean, yeah, very innovative. I mean,
granted, I was once someone who was like, Bill Cosby, great guy. Retract. So,
yeah, supposedly he had some anti-Semitic stuff going on. Although
shit.
I've never looked deeply enough into it to know whether there's any validity to that, or if it's just something that, like, he said one thing one time and then people decided, because people treat it as a goof, so I'm not sure if it's just a goof or if it was really like, no, he was a terrible person.
Right.
But I went to Disneyland.
Okay.
Over Thanksgiving break this last year, and I noticed they have all kinds of like golden age, like Cinderella, Sleeping Beauty, Snow White stuff at Disneyland, and they have all kinds of like modern stuff, like Pixar themed stuff, Incredibles, stuff like that. They have nothing from the 90s, which is when I got into Disney.
Like Pirates of the Caribbean, is that 90s?
Well, that was a ride before it was, but I'm thinking of like, there's no Aladdin ride, there's no Lion King anything.
Right.
There's no, I think there's like, Yeah, there's a Little Mermaid ride. There's no
There
Beauty
is?
and the Beast anything. Like, none of that
It
Disney
is
Renaissance
conspicuously well. Those are all mainly princessy type movies. Were you into the princesses?
stuff. I mean, Beauty and the Beast is the most princess.
The princesses were big in the 90s. That's like when like the surge of princess. Like
Yeah.
there was with Snow White and Cinderella and stuff, but then
Yeah, but like
we got hit with all of it.
Aladdin had Jasmine, but she was not the central character of that
Kevin Costner.
story.
Right.
And then, Lion King obviously is all lions. I mean,
Right.
I
That wasn't
guess
a princess.
Nala might be a princess. I don't know.
I don't know either.
But
I just remember a ton of princesses and I was like, bleh.
yeah. Also, she's totally Simba's sister, if you know anything about how lions do.
Who is?
His love interest lion.
Nala?
That's
Is his sister?
yeah. That's how lion prides work. The
Like a
alpha
Game
male,
of Thrones situation? Like they're Targaryens?
well, like the head male lion will take
just-
over and he'll kill all the cubs that aren't his, so that to bring the females into heat. So
So it's like a half sister. Okay.
yeah.
Then it's half okay.
Oh, okay. I love the Disney Robin Hood movie with the
Oh,
foxes
you are
and
right. That was a good one.
and that one holds up
It
really
does.
well.
It stands the test of time.
Yeah, it's got this
Fantastic.
cool, like, sketchy style to it.
Right.
Like
It's a good one.
hand-drawn stuff. Like, you can see, like, the pencil outlines.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know that I ever saw a Robin Hood movie that I didn't, met a Robin Hood movie I don't like. Like Men in Tights. Fantastic. I know that, wasn't there a Mel Gibson movie or a Kevin Costner?
There was, I think, both. Yeah, there was
Both
definitely...
of them did Robin Hood.
Yeah, because Kevin Costner did Prince of Thieves, which was like the big.
I missed something. Sounds funny.
Yeah.
All right, Kevin Costner was the big.
Yeah,
He was the guy.
Yeah, that was like brought Robin Hood back in a big way, and then
Men in
that's,
Tights,
That's what
that's
Men
the
in
one.
Tights was a most direct parody of.
Right. Agreed.
I never
Yeah.
saw like the Errol Flynn version, which is the old school.
No, I didn't either.
I think Mel Gibson. I think that was like I forget if it was Mel Gibson. It was Ridley Scott. Did like the gritty. This is the realistic Robin Hood. I don't know if it was any good, but so
Right.
I don't know if it actually had Mel Gibson or if I just think it is because it was Ridley Scott doing his Ridley Scott thing like he did with Gladiator. Russell Crowe. That's who I'm thinking of. Not Mel Gibson. Russell Crowe.
I don't know.
They're both Australian, right?
I couldn't say.
Okay.
I know so little about movies. You know what movie okay, so here's a childhood movie that fucked me up, but I love it so much, is Never Ending Story.
That is one of the like pop culture icons that I missed out on despite
What?
being- yeah.
Nightmares
Never
for weeks.
so
Also awesome.
everything I know about Never Ending Story is that there's some green screen flying stuff and a depressed horse that dies.
Okay, so this is going to happen. We're going to do an Avengers reaction viewing,
Okay.
and we're going to do a Never Ending Story one.
Okay.
Because I'm guessing that your people know Never Ending Story,
Sure.
and they would enjoy watching you see it for the first time. That's my suggestion.
Okay.
Are you down?
Sure. Yeah. we
Will
can
you do
that.
it? It's such a good movie, and it's so messed up. It's really messed up. Oh no! See, we can't. Don't tell him. Don't say anything.
Okay.
Don't do it. What's the one? What's the one with Labyrinth? That's another
Labyrinth.
fucked up one.
I didn't see that until I was an adult. I only saw that for the first time like 3 or 4 years ago,
Page Master.
and
I've never seen it.
yeah, it was all right.
Uh,
But yeah, Labyrinth had lots of subtext up in there. Lots of David Bowie codpiece. And I read Sandman by Neil Gaiman,
okay.
and it has a story that I had thought was just like a genre pastiche until I watched Labyrinth and
Okay.
oh, This is directly referencing Labyrinth.
Oh.
Okay. All right.
I've never seen it. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, well, it's a comic book. It's very good.
Oh, I've never read it. I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, that was another one. Most of my comics that I've read were when I was working at the library and just while I was shelving anything that caught my eye, like, oh yeah, sure, I'll try this.
Why not?
Yeah.
Do the thing. All right. Well, I got to figure out what I'm going to take a picture of you doing this week.
What am I doing this week?
Yeah, what are you doing this week?
I
Because I got schooled on grilling. And sorry, guys, I don't know what grilling is, but he cooked some bratwurst.
Yes, I pan-fried some bratwurst in butter.
Cook.
Yes,
You cooked it. That's the important part.
I did.
And in my defense, I expected to go out and grill it. And then you're like, no, we haven't figured out the grills yet. Plus, it's 1,000,000 degrees outside.
Yeah, I have not figured out. I still have not figured out the grills here, although I should.
But so you're just, we don't need to get into the difference between grilling and pan frying right now. Something I need to learn as an adult.
Yeah, grilling.
Is on a grill.
Yes.
But don't you have like, can't you have like a grill on your stove? Is that a griddle? Is that different?
I mean, it's one of those like, is it really grilling?
George Foreman grill. That's a grill.
Like the George Foreman quote unquote grill it's called a grill, but that's a hot plate.
I broiled my
it's a
first
griddle.
thing like 3 days ago. It was a steak, and I didn't know it was going to cook that fast. I didn't know that's what broiling was, like 1,000,000 goddamn degrees until it turns.
Yeah, that's how I've been doing my steaks.
Bad.
But now I don't want to turn my oven up that high here in the summer.
Don't do it.
Although I did the ice bath today, and I did it later than usual. Because usually I do my morning workout first thing in the morning and then get into the ice bath and then go on with my day. And I had to drive up here and I had an appointment. And so by the time I got around to the ice bath, by the time I got out, it was noon. And I've got the peak electricity hours thing here. But yes, grilling is for purists, grilling is over some kind of flame.
That feels like a solid definition.
Yeah.
So then the George Foreman grill is not a grill.
No.
Maybe that's where I got confused.
Yeah, that's a griddle, which is meant to simulate grilling.
Why has no one said before, wait a minute, that's not a grill?
I mean, I think it's kind of understood.
Shit. Not by me.
But apparently not.
I don't cook. I'm trying to learn.
Yeah.
But anyway, well, okay, well then it'll be a surprise. I'll get a picture of you doing something
But
that's not streaming,
yeah. Anyway,
and I'm gonna post it.
long story short, I have my air conditioning set to way cooler
Shit.
for 3 hours.
Yes.
And that, in order to pre-cool my apartment before the air conditioning not being on, so I can save electricity during.
You
peak
turn it
hours.
off during peak hours?
I don't turn it. Essentially, I turn it off. I have it all programmed into my thermostat, and it's set to 83. So if it were to get like too stupid hot, it would still click on, but it lets it get pretty hot, and it has not gotten to that point. Because I also, for the 3 hours before that period, have it set to lower than I usually would to pre-cool the apartment. Mm-hmm. And
Solid point. I'm listening.
yeah. Anyway, so I got out of the ice bath later than usual, only to find that my apartment was set to 75.
Oh shit.
And yeah, like, oh god, it is freezing in here because I just got out of the damn ice bath. Why?
Right.
And yeah, since doing the daily ice baths, Worldwide Wimpy says my brother keeps his at 80. Like, yeah, my apartment will get up to 80 now, and I won't even notice. Like,
That'll save you money.
yeah, maybe.
Look at that go. I wonder how long till it pays for the ice bath. Cutting down your AC bill. Ice bath will pay for itself.
I mean, I'm also leaving, another major appliance on for.
That's true.
For 20,
I don't think about these things.
Yeah. What's that? 21 hours a day, not counting because I've got that on a timer too to turn off during peak electricity.
Does it pull a lot of electricity?
I don't know. Tom says it doesn't.
I thought they were trying to keep it minimal.
Reasonable.
Yeah. Huh. Well, I do have to say you've got the dad thing down because I think every dad in the planet is like, close the door, turn the AC. Energy conserving. That's a dad quality.
Yeah.
Don't stand in front of the fridge with the door open. Don't open the door with the AC on. I'm not air conditioning the neighborhood. I heard that about 4,000 times when I was a kid. So well done.
Yeah.
You're on your way.
Yeah, although I don't know. I should see about getting one of those doggy doors that you like put in your sliding door.
Yeah, I had one of those.
Because yeah, this thing, she loves the heat, and she wants to follow me out. She does. She follows me out onto the balcony when I do the ice baths, and she doesn't want to come back in after.
Right.
And so I leave the door cracked for her to get in and out. I shouldn't do that.
Yeah, those things are good. They work. They just a little insert. I mean, they're ugly as hell.
Yeah.
But who cares?
Yeah.
Functional. Function over beauty. It's like dressing for comfort. You're like, what the hell are you talking about?
Well, see,
Makes sense in my brain.
I've got that magic Y chromosome, which means that clothes that look good are also comfortable. That's
right. So every day is dressing for comfort for you. Lucky. Well, no, I have to say that work, like when I look at work clothes for dudes, and I see dudes in 110-degree heat going to work in like suits and ties and jackets. Fuck that.
Yeah, I mean, there's some stuff you can do to make that a little better. You can get like the light gauge wool, like that's really breathable and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's still layers.
Even getting married like in the spring or summer in your suit, boo. It just seems uncomfortable. I don't know.
Yeah, see, here's the problem: is that men's fashion was created in places like London at times when central heating wasn't really a thing and buildings were very drafty. So that's why you've got like undershirt, shirt, vest, jacket, overcoat,
Right.
because that's what made sense in that time and place. But those are the fashions that have stuck.
Layering's a thing. I'm from Illinois. Layering, I remember layering.
Oh yeah, I love layer. I love the layered look. I don't like wearing it in Arizona.
It wasn't built in Arizona.
Yeah.
Touche.
Yeah, I'm over here with my seersucker shorts on right now.
Well, more shame because I am a vocal non-proponent of athletic wear as everyday clothing. Like, I don't think yoga pants are pants. But I think it's okay if you're going to be working out.
Yeah. No, not to get too echo chambery again, but yeah, 100% agreed.
Right. So at this point, I have to admit that I'm not working out today. Well, no, I am at 7 o'clock.
Oh.
Just not immediately following. But, I mean, my point is I dress for comfort today. So I think that's all right. And I think it's okay if you put the ugly screen door in to accommodate doggo. I think it works. So anyway, are you ready? We're getting sighs from the peanut gallery. She's like, are you done?
I think we probably were done a while ago, but that's okay.
And yet we just keep going.
We do.
I think that's a positive character trait that we have.
Yeah, no.
That we share because we don't disagree on anything. We're going to find it, man, and it's going to be ugly. When it goes down, it's going to go down.
It's what the people at home are just waiting for, like a NASCAR viewer waiting for a car to flip.
Waiting for the train wreck.
Stop getting along. What are you doing?
I hate you.
Conflict.
Damn it. It's going to be good. Stick around for that one. All right. Well, cheers to today. We'll see you next week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Yeah, next week live.
They know, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
at the beginning, we said it.
Cool. Well, I mean, here's the thing. You can say things at the beginning.
And then people come and go.
Worldwide Wimpy, tomorrow. Tomorrow, we'll do more rando. Trust me, I've been.
Oh, he'll be here. It's just
shakes.
not me. Yeah.
More rando. I know you were kidding, but I'm not, because I'm jonesing, man. Here's the problem with trying to diversify and like do more stuff and switch it up. It means less rando, and I need my fucking rando.
I don't know what that means. What does that mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
It sounds fun. What's DQ? I don't know. I'm going to keep. Oh, wait. They want to know what next week is. We are going to. Wait, okay.
Okay. So,
gosh.
Next week, because, that's the thing. People show up during the stream, so they might not have been around when we said before.
We're going to watch Avengers with Ben, so we say that. No, go back to what we're
next
doing.
Week,
not next week.
Because we need it to come out on home video. Next week, it's going to be live ice bath with personal coaching.
With our friend Adrian.
Yeah. And I don't even know what to expect, but I don't know. I'm supposed to That's right. I was gonna like read the
We're gonna
message that she sent.
push you past your personal best.
Yeah. She says, okay, so she says, I want to offer a coaching in the ice session to you. And I say, sure. She says, let's live stream it. I want you to show your people how you can change your story about what you tell yourself to get into the tub. Okay, yeah. I mean, I thought my story was fine, which is this fucking sucks, but I'm doing it anyway.
They disagree. They don't think your story's fine.
Apparently, yeah.
They think you need to fix your story.
Apparently, I need to fix my story. I don't know. I feel like my time's going up every time. I'm getting that PB.
I wonder how it'll go over if we're. She's very serious. She takes it seriously.
Yeah,
So
she does.
I might be sitting there cracking jokes, and then I'm going to get kicked out. I'm going to get kicked out of the ice bath session. I think that's okay. Whatever. All right. So that's what's going to happen. He's going to be in the ice bath and keep his nipples covered.
Yep. So yeah, I can't have. I probably don't actually have to worry about that. It's just a fun goof.
I think you should. I think you should worry about it, and you should be very, very careful and be very creative about covering them up. Am I joining him? I don't know. Maybe I ice bath. Probably not at the same time.
No.
Not at the same time.
Yeah, that's. I think the 6 feet ice baths, 6 foot ice baths are still a one person affair.
Agreed.
I've got the 4 foot model, and yeah, that is one person.
Yeah.
Get
Oh,
you.
we can't. We can't. We did it at the beginning. We'll talk about ice. We'll talk about why next week again. We'll touch on it again.
I don't know.
You did.
Master Blaster guy wants to know, why do I do ice baths? I don't know. I thought I knew, but now apparently I need to change the story.
You
that
got
I
to
tell
change your
myself.
story, Ben.
Yeah, I'm exploring. That's really what it is.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
Run experiments.
Yeah. I want to see what'll happen when I get all up in that ice all the time.
Well, we know that you go, this fucking sucks. Get me out of here.
Yeah, well, that happened at first, and then I turned a corner. It became like this Zen, accept the pain, but also fight the pain without fighting the pain.
Right.
Defeat it by surrendering thing, and also apparently the breathing helps me dance. So that's.
I love that. That's why he does it, because it helps him dance.
It helped me dance.
I think with like doing it live streaming, you're gonna murder your personal best, or you're gonna look like a total asshole and jump right out. I can't wait to find out which one it is.
Yeah, yay!
All right,
Do it live. All
we're
right,
really
guys.
leaving now.
All right.
We gotta go work out, or I'm a fraud wearing these pants.
This episode has been brought to you by the letter E. I don't know if you can read that there.
The letter E.
E.
This is mine.
Yeah, we were playing Scrabble and I found your E.
We played Scrabble over
Yeah.
here, and apparently we left an E. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that.
All right, guys. I will see you tomorrow, and we will see you next
Next week.
Bye.
Bye.